Hey, it's Mike from thesubstream.com, and this is episode 2 of our gear guide examination of the Jib Arm, made in conjunction with the super cool people at White's Interactive. And today, we're going to be focusing on how to put the thing together, and I will be assisted by my lovely assistant, Tara Mason. This is basically what you get when you rent the Jib Arm from White's Interactive, and this is how most Jib Arms actually work. We've added in two things, which is a tripod, a set of legs here, and a head that we've rented, not from White's. We need to get that from somewhere else. But this is basically the package of how a Jib Arm goes together. You've got the Jib Arm itself, you've got a stack of weights to act as counterweights for the camera, you've got your tripod legs for the whole thing to go on, you have your head for the camera, and the head adapter ring, which goes on like so to help you mount it on. Now, how do we put this thing together? It starts with the tripod. This is just a normal set of legs. You could put a head right on there. You could put whatever you want on there. They've made it work with a regular tripod head. Now we're going to put the Jib Arm on. We're going to begin by taking this off, like so, and I'm going to give that to you to hold. This is a two-person job because it's kind of awkward to begin with. So I'm going to put it on top of the tripod, get it seated. Tara, can you reach underneath there and screw that in? Okay, now this isn't really a lever yet because all of the weight is on one side of the fulcrum. So Tara, can you come over here and just support the weight of it? This is the arm that holds the weight, and it slides out of the body of the Jib Arm. There's a pin over on this other side that you pull out. Once this is out all of the way, put that back in. Now the process begins, once you've got this fully extended, of making sure that the thing itself is balanced. It's already a little bit off because that thing's so much longer and heavier than this end. So we're gonna put some weights on this end just while we're getting ready to put the head on the other end. So now we're gonna take our standard fluid head and we're gonna mount it on the end of this thing. The whole thing comes with this adapter ring, which you stick underneath, like so that you can mount this thing and it'll stay secure. Feeling heavy over there? Okay, so now come switch me spots. Now I know that because I've done this before, about how much weight I need to put on. It's gonna be different for each camera, but the heaviest thing on that end is generally the head, so you know you're gonna be working with the same amount of weight generally anyways. Remember, the relationship between weight on this end and the weight on that end isn't 1 for 1 because the lengths of the lever on either side of the fulcrum are different. There's math involved, but I don't know what it is. So you just have to do trial and error until you get the right balance. So now we have to go put the camera on the head at the end of the Jib Arm. Because it's the future and the future is weird, the camera is by far the lightest piece of equipment involved in this whole deal, and as such it won't change the balance much, but you do want to get this thing as balanced as you possibly can, so you have to do it while the camera is mounted. How are we feeling? Are we feeling balanced? So now that we've got the camera mounted on that end and 30 pounds of weight mounted on that end, we're almost balanced, but not quite. We want to make sure that this thing is as balanced as possible so that it takes as little effort as possible to actually shoot our shots, because that's going to help them look better. So we want to get it just perfect. I think if we put another 5 pounds on that end, it would be too much. But thankfully it comes with this cool thing, this little weight that slides along and helps you fine-tune it. Does that seem balanced to you? That seems balanced, and you can tell because you can send the camera 8 feet up in the air with your pinky, or whatever finger this is. There's one important detail over here, which is once you've got this thing balanced, you need to be able to actually lock it off. So that's a little lever that's on this side over here. And there's a pan lock, similarly, over here. So you can lock it off when you're not actually shooting. So now in terms of operation, we don't have a fancy remote control head for this thing to control the focus on the camera, or even really an external monitor so a theoretical director can sit over there and watch it. We just have to operate by hand, which isn't actually that hard to do, and you can still achieve some pretty neat stuff just sitting at this end doing it. But if you did have a remote head, you could operate it from this end if you wanted to, and really get crazy. Of course, if you're doing that, you probably need somebody with a remote control controlling the focus and the position of the camera, so you're not just shooting random roller coaster shots of a studio. Thankfully, these things are really simple to put together and simple to use, and that's because they're basically, at heart, simple machines. In this case, a lever with weights at one end and the camera on the other. That doesn't mean you can't achieve really cool stuff with them though, but like any bit of filmmaking technology and technique, it'll take some practice. So if you do have one, put it together and then just fart around with it for a while and make sure that you're comfortable at either end. Right?
Right.